Hello everyone, welcome back to another tutorial sewn by Nikki. This is another video where I'm going to show you a pretty fairly easy project, quick project that you can do for Christmas, for the holidays for someone. Okay, we are going to make wristlets today. Okay, so simple wristlets that are going to have a little strap. Okay, and you can personalize them any way you want to. Okay, these come off, the straps will come off, so this can essentially be a keychain, or if you even made it longer, you can make a lanyard. Okay, without the strap, this here could actually be a coin purse, or just a simple everyday run to the store, just stick your phone inside or something like that. Okay, and you can adjust this to make this whatever size you want to, but we're going for the quick, efficient wristlet today. You can use any kind of material you want, but I wanted to show you something. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what materials you need, but I want to show you something. Okay, so grab chopstick. If you have your chopstick, grab you some scissors. You need some scissors, your pins. You're going to need an O-ring. You're also going to need a clasp. Okay, so one of the hook eye clasp, if you have them. You're going to need zipper. Okay, a zipper that's larger than 9 inches. Okay, so anything larger than 9 inches. Outer fabric and inner fabric, lining fabric. Okay, so outer, inner. You need some Pelon 809 interface. Okay, this is what's going to give it a little stiffness, so because cotton can't stand alone. Okay, then we're going to get started. So I went to Hobby Lobby the other day, okay, and I was doodling around and I came across the clearance section. So the material I'm going to use today, okay, I actually got from the clearance section. These are fat quarters. Okay, Joann sells them, Hobby Lobby sells them. Fat quarters, they're basically a quarter of a yard that you would get of fabric. Okay, so they are usually 18 by 21 or 18 by 22 inches. The real important thing I want to show you here is that 50 cents. That's what I want to show you, the 50 cents. Okay, so this fat quarter right here, I could do 3 wristlets. Okay, I can make 3 of these from this 50 cents. Okay, I'm gonna do another video at another time to show you how much you can make out of a yard of fabric. But the point is, don't go past the clearance sections or the remnant sections in the fabric store. Okay, so let me tell you what you're gonna need. I already did a template. I wanted to show you like I did in the previous video. Okay, so that I use folders and I actually just write on the template what it actually is. Okay, so you're going to need outer fabric that measures 5 by 7.5. So this is 5, you can do 5.5 by 7.5. You're going to need a small piece of fabric, which we're going to use for the tab. This is 3 by 5. Okay, this is going to be this portion right here. Okay, you need to have this fabric right here. This is 3 by 18. Okay, this is going to be the strap. Okay, and then you just need your lining fabric. Okay, the same measurements as your outer, so they should be 5.5 by 7.5 or whatever size you choose to customize your wristlet. Okay, so we have outer, we have inner, we have the Pelon 809 interface, which is the same exact size as the outer and inner fabric. We have this tab that we're going to need, the 3 by 5. Okay, and then we also have the 3 by 18 along with a zipper that is longer than 9 inches. I like to say 9 inches because the actual item that you're sewing is 7.5, but this is really hard for beginners to grasp when they're sewing. So get yourself anything that's longer than the project you're working on. Okay? Okay, so let's get started. We are going to get that outside fabric, and what we are going to do is we're going to iron on that interface onto it. Get the shiny side, put the shiny side face down on that interface. I'm just going to cover this interface with the fabric. Iron it down. Okay. Want to make sure that it's actually sticking to it. Good. Let's put a little bit more. Okay. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. Make sure you have the shiny side. Make sure you don't have your scraps because you'll actually be able to see that. Okay, I'm adhering. That's the pretty side face up. The glue is face up. Ironing that on. Okay. Okay, so these are the 2 outer portions, and we are now ready to start. Okay, put these to the side for a moment. Get your small tab, the 3x5. We're going to make this into the little tab for the wristlet right now. We're going to make this part right now. Okay, so go ahead, fold this over into the middle, finger press it, open it up. Fold those raw edges inside so that they touch each other, and then close over. Okay, I'm going to iron this down. All right, so go and grab that long piece that's 3 inches wide by 18 inches long. Okay, we're going to create this portion now. Okay, the strap, it's the same exact thing that you just did for the tab. So I'm going to fold this over, and it doesn't matter if when you cut it, if it doesn't look perfect, because you're not going to see these raw edges anyway. Remember that. Okay, fold it over to the middle. I'm finger pressing right now, but I'm going to get the iron. Okay, fold these over fold the other side into the middle. Fold it over. You see, no more raw edges. Okay, iron that. And I do several of these. If you've seen other videos that I've done, tutorials, I've made tabs before. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, so go ahead and subscribe below, because you'll be able to find out when I have new videos. And then you can continue learning with the rest of us. Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do to both the small tab and the long one, we're going to put it underneath the machine, and we're going to sew down the left and the right sides of both of them. We're going to start our sewing, but we want to sew close to the edge, about 1/8 of an inch down the sides. We're doing this so that you can have that nice finished look, polished look, but also it needs to close the fabric. It needs to close the material there. Okay. When you go into the stores now, you're going to really be paying attention to a lot of the design, and you'll be paying attention to seams. I do that a lot now, ever since I started sewing. Okay, so both sides of both of the tabs, the tab and the strap, we want. I'm going all the way down to the end, even though I know that's going to be tucked inside. Almost done. And take your time if you need to. If you don't sew close to your edges a lot, take your time. Go slowly. Step on that pedal very slowly so that you can get those straight lines. Okay, so here we are. We have both sides sewn. Okay, both sides are sewn. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start the process of sewing the body. Okay, grab your lining, the lining fabric. You can put those to the side for right now. Grab one piece of your lining. You're going to get your zipper. And what you're going to do is you're going to line up those raw edges. I've done a video before where for the zipper pouches, sewing zipper pouches, so this also is similar to that. Get the other side of your outer fabric. See, when your outer fabric now, this is the inner side that I'm using, this is the outer side. Outer side is going to go face down on top. Raw edges are all meeting up, and what I'm going to do is pin these in place. All of the raw edges are touching. Okay, and now I am not going to change my foot. If you're looking at my foot, I don't use a zipper foot. You change your foot if you need to, if you want to. What we're going to do is we're going to sew right down here, straight down. We're going to connect the liner with the zipper and this outer fabric that has the interface on that we sewed on. Okay, if you need to get your zipper foot, go ahead and do that. Make sure when you're sewing, just make sure your zipper is further down, just so that it doesn't get in your way and bulk up here. Okay, so go ahead, and we want to sew straight down the edge. So when you're done, it's going to be between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch, depending on what foot you use. I use my same foot. I'm removing my pin. I know that my zipper foot, the teeth are right there up against this foot that I'm using. Okay. And I've been doing this quite a while, so I don't change my feet. Okay, I'm back stitching. This is why I like to tell people to use longer zippers so that the zippers extend. I buy them in bulk, so I just grab whichever one is longer than the project that I'm using, but it's a lot easier. You can iron over these zippers, you can sew over these zippers. They're nylon for all-purpose zippers. Okay, so go ahead, open up that outer fabric, that pouch. What we're going to do is flatten this out. To make it easier for you, what I'm going to recommend is grabbing the iron, flatten down this fabric, your outer fabric here. Okay, see how I just ironed over that zipper? What we're going to do now is we're going to put a top stitch, pretty top stitch right across the top. It's going to help so it doesn't grab the inner fabric when you're opening and closing the zipper. Okay, so go ahead and top stitch right across. I'm putting my fabric lined up with my first guide marker. Okay, and I'm just going to ride that line straight down and keeping that guide marker lined up with this top portion of my fabric. And that's how I know I'm going to get a straight line. And again, I'm back stitching. Okay. Okay, you see it? Pretty top stitch right there. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. Grab the lining piece, your other lining, and we want to put it face up. We're going to put the zipper down on top, raw edges, to meet raw edges, and you see everything is lined up here on both sides. Get the last piece, the other piece of your outer fabric, okay? And what we want to do is put that face down, okay? So now you have your pretty side to pretty side, okay? Right on top of the zipper, raw edges lined up. Go ahead and pin that. If you don't need to pin, don't pin. If you've gotten to the point where you can sew without it. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to sew a straight line all the way down. Again, I'm just going to ride along this zipper foot right here for me. Be sure to back stitch when you start. Removing my pin. As I ride along, and I know my zipper teeth is here, I see where the fabric is lined up with the guide marker here. So from this view, I know that I'm getting a straight line. I'm getting to the end. Everything is still together. Okay. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to open this. I flipped it, so there's your outer part. There's your inner, because this is your interface. Here's the inner here, the inner fabric, the lining. I'm finger pressing. I'm going to turn it over. I'm flattening, and what I'm going to do is put the iron here again to give it that nice crisp look, but also it helps with the ironing. Flip it upside down. You want to make sure that the zipper part is to the right inside of the machine. The part that you are top stitching is going to be on your left side. Okay, put it underneath again, and again we are creating that top stitch for that line straight down. You're sewing close to your zipper. You're connecting the lining with your outer fabric. And now I'm removing. Okay, so we have pretty top stitching right there. Okay, this is the part. What we're going to do, we're going to add in the tab. Let's take your pretty sides, put those pretty sides together. Okay, so we have the liner on the left side, outer fabric, which is the pretty fabric, on the right side. Open up your zipper at this point. This is going to be important because you need to be able to turn your project, your wristlet, right side out. So open up that zipper, and what we're going to do now, pin this to hold it in place. Get the other one. These are going to make, this can make a really good gift for someone. So, and once you learn how to do it, you can do this really quickly. When you're learning, it's going to take you a little bit of time. It's taking me a little bit of time just because I'm explaining step by step. But I promise you, you'll get so quick at these. It's a go-to gift. Okay, do not cut the sides of your zipper yet. Don't worry that they're longer. We'll get to that. Okay, this is what we've done so far. We're preparing to sew. What I want you to do is I want you to get the tabbed portion, the small tabbed portion, the small tabby thing that you sewed. Get your O-ring or whatever it is you're using for your connection. Put that loop, put that tab through the O-ring. Okay. I'm going to cut this because we don't need it that long. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to stick this inside. The part with the O-ring goes inside on the side that has the butt of the zipper. The butt of the zipper, not the zippy pull part, but the butt of it. We're going to stick the tab inside of the pretty side. So pretty, pretty, pretty fabric. They're all touching each other. Okay, leave it so that it's sticking out a little bit. Put it close up to the top. Here's that top stitch that we sewed inside, that line right there. Okay, we want it right up at the top. Okay, that's it. It's close to the zipper. All right, and now I'm just going to pin this in place. Okay, just so that you can see how to do it. I'm going to pin this back because I unpinned it to show you. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to start sewing from the bottom, from the lining part. Okay, what you're going to do is leave a space here. You want about 3 inches because this is where you're going to turn your project right side out. Okay, we're going to sew down 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way down, all the way across, go over the zipper, all the way down the side of the outer fabric, all the way around, all the way around. Okay, make sure that your teeth are facing your lining. Okay, make sure they're facing the same way. Okay, so let's sew all the way around, and we're going to stop at the pins. Removing my pin. Pivoting and turning. I'm sewing over my zipper because that's the beauty when you're using all-purpose nylon zippers. You can sew right over them. You cannot sew over a metal zipper. Going all the way down. I'm going to go down a little more. And don't worry if that interface and everything is not looking perfect when you're doing it for the first time. You're not going to see it. We're going to cut off any bulk anyway. I'm removing that pin, but I'm holding on to the tab here, okay, so it doesn't slide. Sewing back and forth. I like to make sure that when I go over the tab, I give it a little bit of extra stitching because you're going to possibly have someone who puts something heavy inside of that. And you want to make sure that that tab doesn't come out because it's holding the strap. I'm back at the beginning where we started. I'm going to leave a space for turning. Be sure to backstitch. Removing those pins. Okay. All right, so we're going to do 2 things now. We're going to cut off these zippers, cut off the ends. Okay, see how easy that was to cut? I am cutting extra bulk from the interface. Interface makes things thick, which is what you want, but when you turn it inside out, you don't want the bulkiness on the other side. Okay, and I'm just clipping the bottom again for bulk. Get closer to the seam. When you clip those corners, be careful not to actually clip your, don't clip your sewing line, your stitching. Rah. Okay. I don't like to use the same scissors I cut fabric with to cut zippers. And so it takes a little bit more force. Okay, we're back at that bottom. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn this inside out. Well, right side out. Stick those fingers in there. I'm going to push through. If you wanted to, this could actually just be a coin purse so far. It's adding the strap that makes it a wristlet. I'm poking out the corners. Poking. Poking. If you have that chopstick, get the chopstick. Stick it in the corners. Okay. I don't like to use the ends of scissors because the scissors can poke through your fabric and make a hole. You don't want that. Don't forget to poke this corner as well, because when that zipper closes, you don't want it to be curved. You like it to have a nice sharp edge. You can poke the inside of your lining as well. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we're going to close up this portion here. Okay, if you have an iron next to you, I just snipped my thread. If you have an iron next to you, if you would like to, iron this to make it flat and easier for you. Okay, the reason I don't cut the bottom when I'm cutting around the seams inside is because that bulk helps, it helps the fabric naturally turn into a nice seam by itself. Okay, without me fighting it. So we're going to close up that portion here. You're going to sew 1/8 of an inch, you know, so that you're close to the edge. Close up that hole there. And remember to backstitch. I like these snippers because it allows me to get close. It allows me to get close to my sewing line so that, you know, I don't have a lot of thread hanging. Okay, so poke that inside. If you wanted to leave it like this, like I said, you could have a coin purse, but we're going to go to the next step right now. Okay, poke out that corner there. Okay. All right, there we go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add on the strap to make this the wristlet. So grab the clasp. This is the final part. Put the strap onto the clasp. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this so that the pretty sides are facing each other. Okay. So right now, this is the pretty way. Both sides are the pretty way, and they're on the outside. Okay. What we're going to do is reverse them. Reverse them so pretty sides are touching pretty sides. It's definitely going to flip your lanyard, your strap, and that's what you want. Okay. Let's sew across, back and forth. Let's close that up. And I'm giving it a little bit extra. I'm going back again. It's holding stuff. It's a strap. Okay. Cut all those stragglies. You will see these. Okay, so you want to make sure that you cut them all nice and tight, nice and short. Okay. So now turn this back the right way. So now you're looking at this. Your clasp is down here. Slide it to the side that you just sewed. You see that? Slide it down there. That's the part you just sewed. Let's lock it in there, and what we're going to do is you're going to hold the clasp and sew a line right across here to hold this clasp in place so that this is your handle that has no sew lines here. We're going to make that sew line invisible by putting it at the bottom. Well, not invisible, but unseen. Okay, so sew a line straight across. Okay, we're going to hold that in place. All right, remember to backstitch. You want to make sure that you get this line straight because this will actually be visible. Okay. And that's it. I like to backstitch a few times. All right. And guess what, everyone? You've just completed a project. And you have a handy dandy wristlet for someone. Look at that. Okay. You can make the strap longer or shorter if you want to. Play around with it and see what you like. You know, if you want shorter straps, make shorter straps. You don't have to do 18 inches. You know, you might want to do 3 by, you know, maybe 16. Okay. Don't forget to iron it. Ironing makes everything look good. Okay. Look at that. All right. So go ahead, make a few of them. And you can give them out as gifts. think about what that person likes. You know, I went to London this year in the summer, and this is pretty cool. I love travel. Okay, so, and that's all, everyone. So I am looking forward to you joining me back here for another tutorial, real-time tutorial, and where I help you create gifts for your friends and family. So hit that subscribe button below, and you'll be able to get a notification for when my next video comes up. All right, let me know if you have any questions or any comments. Put them in the section below. And that's all for now. See you next time.